With a cloudy sky, we've had a few sprinkles this morning. Maybe a little bit more rain today, and getting out of here for Friday. That would be a good thing for the Friday night football. I know at one time they were thinking this area was going to get a lot of rain, and Friday night football would be affected. It looks like that may not be the case, so that is good. Patrick will keep us up to date as we continue. As we continue here on KWN today, we welcome Dade County Commission co-chair to the Dade County Commission, Robert Goff. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Evan. How are you?
Oh, doing good. He's on the Newsmaker segment with us, and I was trying to find the Roy Rogers "Happy Trails to You" where I could play it when you come in, but I couldn't get it in time. And I guess we need to explain what that means.
Well, now I can sing it for you if you really want it
okay.
that bad.
We'll move on to the next thing.
The next segment.
Next segment.
No, my wife and I just had one of, you might call the vacation of a lifetime, to go out through. She's always wanted to say Wyoming, Montana, and so we flew into Denver, rented a car, drove across the state of Wyoming diagonally and into the Grand Tetons, and then on up to Yellowstone, and then spent 6 days on a dude ranch while I was riding a horse. We had a couple of friends from Dade County with us. Had a great time, went back across the state of Montana to South Dakota, saw Mount Rushmore, and tried to see the Crazy Horse Monument, but just before we got there, the fog set in, and we were not able to see that. But I tell you what, I know we live in some beautiful country, but that is some of the most beautiful country and diverse country of pasture lands and mountains and whatever that I've ever seen.
It is. I've been out there, been to Mount Rushmore, got family still lives in Gillette, Wyoming. And so I've been all over, and got family in Colorado. Yeah. So that area is definitely I mean, a lot of that area you expect to see just any turn around the road. You expect to see the Cartwrights or somebody like that.
Matt Dillon or somebody.
Yeah, somebody's going to be out there, because it looks like you're forever in a western area, and you are.
Well, one of the places we visited just for a little while was Medicine Bow, Wyoming, which is a wide spot in the road, but it does have the Virginian Motel. Well, that is not obviously where the TV series The Virginian was filmed, but my wife loves that program. She did years ago, still does today. So she was teary-eyed when we pulled up into Medicine Bow, Wyoming, which had an old hotel and 3 other stores, I think, and a population of 200 and something that lived there.
A lot of people don't realize that the city or the county of Hamilton has more population in it than the entire state of Wyoming. Mm-hmm. Wyoming's only got about 300,000.
Yeah. And you see when you go, I mean, you drive for miles and miles and miles, and it's a lot of it is government grassland, but it is a beautiful country. I'm glad that she got to go and I got to go, and
well, that sounds like a great trip, and especially get to stay a week on a dude ranch.
Oh yeah. I was a dude too.
Did you have to go out and mend fence and
no,
and wrestle up some cattle?
No, but if you ever watched the movie City Slickers, I did find out what that one thing was, and it's different for everybody. So I'll tell you after we get off there.
Oh my goodness! Well, welcome back to reality and the things that are going on here in Dade County. I did get to speak with County Executive Ted Rummy. He said probably 2 to 3 weeks left on the Lookout Mountain Dam project. They're pouring concrete, I believe, this week.
They are. I went out, actually. My wife and I drove out there Sunday afternoon, I guess, because I'd been gone so long. I just wanted to see where they got to. And the rebar was laid in the bottom of the drain, and all the siphoning pipes are in. Excuse me. Obviously, if we begin to get rain out of this, and it did look like we would get more than maybe we're going to get now, the rain is going to be a big factor in filling that lake back in. I wish sometimes that folks didn't do a knee-jerk reaction, because when that, we had to do it. We really had no choice. To do it, it had to be drained down to what it is, and we did everything that we could, including putting the aerator in to keep the fish that are still in there alive, and there has been some water come back into it. But now it can go to the process of filling back up, and once that's done, there will be very little noticeable difference in the depth of that lake, or the height of it, whichever one you want to call it, that there was before this whole thing started. But it is being, they are supposed to start pouring. They couldn't get concrete today, but they're supposed to start, as far as they know, working with a concrete provider in the morning, early in the morning, they'll start pouring. So
All right. And of course, you still got the summer paving that hasn't been able to be taken because you've had men tied up on the dam issue. But County Road 6 is really probably the biggest problem.
It is, and that is being, that's going to be started as soon as possible. I just hope there's a mild enough winter, or that there's enough time to get it done before anything might happen. A lot of problem with that is not only County Road 6, which is obviously a county road, but several places on Highway 136, which is a state highway, are in some terrible shape too as far as the sliding, and sometimes it's almost you look and see which one's going to last the longest.
I know that several years ago, it's probably closer to 15 or 20 years ago now, the state went in right at the top of 136 and done I think a couple of $1 million worth of work there, and kind of shored that up, and that's held pretty well.
It has, but there's at the very top of the mountain, and then coming around after you come around the second horseshoe curve coming down, it's a pretty bad drop. So I know the state will have to, they've got their hands full because you see the same thing going up Lookout Mountain on 136, but that's sometimes the problem with mountain roads.
We've still got a couple of roads in this area. The road that out of Bryant that goes over into Hawjaw Valley, it's been closed for a long time. It's a Jackson County road, and they don't have the ability to fix it right now, or get it done the way it's got to be done right. Over Highway 41, it's been down to a one-lane road for a great number of months. Yeah. Going, if you will, from the Catfish House over to Haletown. Yeah. And it's not, it's not just centered around Dade County. It's really the whole region. When you've got these mountainous roads and we've cut out of banks and different things that. All the areas experiencing problems. Yeah,
and you can go back in sometimes and piece something back together to do, but that's really not productive because you're going to have to go back later. It's like the County Road 6 where we did the job, a few years back and put in the wall and everything
up
down
there
under
at the top. Right. And what we didn't even mention, Negajack going off into Walker County there to 193 has been closed, and they're getting that back open. And then earlier, several years ago, you did Burkhalter Gap there.
Yes, yeah.
So we've had a lot of problems.
Yeah, any mountainous region is that way, and water, hard winters, freezing, a lot of water in the ground, which is probably more of our problem. Is we go from these sod-soaking gully washers for such a long time, and then it dries out, and that ground is, it just changes everything down beneath it. But that is going to be started real soon, and it is still passable right now. But hope we can do a fix on it that is a permanent fix and a good fix. So that's coming. So things are beginning to come back together. The things that people, the people on Sand Mountain are more concerned about that than the people maybe on Lookout, where the people on Lookout with that lake, everything affects people different, but it all affects us as a county. And we just hope to get it all done in the best time we can. We went yesterday. Billy and Ted and I, we drove up to Plainview near Rainsville. Well, it was Rainsville, to Plainview High School, and looked at one of the tornado shelters that's built attached to the school there. And I think on the wall it had a capacity, that big word, capacity of 650 people, which is quite larger than what we're looking at doing, but it is attached to a full high school. But that's impressive. That's something else that hopefully Alex wasn't able to go with us because of some problems with the tower, I think, out on around Head River with phones and radios and that kind of thing. That's something else that hopefully in not too distant future will start for those who are looking for those to be built.
It has been a great number of years since our big tornado, and a lot of the communities in Alabama have already got the shelters. I mean, Bryant's got one, Higdon's got one, Flat Rock. You got Eider. I mean, you got a lot of these community shelters that have been used on a regular basis. There's a lot of folks that go to them when there is a strong a likelihood of some significant.
And I would encourage that. Don't wait till you start seeing debris in there and say we need to try to get to a shelter, because a lot of people are injured or killed by flying debris that's already there. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't do that, but sometimes it's that knee-jerk reaction of waiting too long. You know, like a couple they interviewed last night down in Gulf Shores or somewhere said, no, we're going to stick it out. Well, they may be rethinking that after the surge came in. But talking about the shelters, I got a call a couple of weeks ago from a friend of mine. I don't remember where Ruth and I were, but they were all upset. I mean, she was just terribly upset. Said, so-and-so said that we were going to build a storm shelter on the soccer fields. And that's what I mean by knee-jerk reaction. Somebody heard Alex make the statement, we're going to build them at the soccer fields or at the, rec league football field. And that is where one of them is planned to go. But, of course, I had me some fun. I called Ted and Alex. They happened to be in a meeting, but as soon as I got out there, I said, what in the world are y'all doing? Going to close down our soccer fields? Well, where did that come from? They said, but please know that we're not going to put a storm shelter in the middle of the soccer field. There's still going to be soccer and recreation in Dade County, but in that area, because of those fields, that is where one needs to be. And so that's the point. But if you've heard that we're going to put one in the middle of the soccer field or the football field or the baseball field, that is not the plan, and it is not going to happen. But there will be one in that. It has to be on government property, even county-owned government property or school-owned property. Like we're planning on putting one at Davis for that school, but it will be somewhere around the bowl or above the bowl. So it's just things people hear, but I've told her, I said, I appreciate you calling, because there's nothing to this, but the time the word gets around, you've got 400 or 500 people mad at you because my kid loves to play baseball, soccer, football, or whatever, and you're taking their place away from them.
If you, well, I think we talked about folks and posting, things that they've not vetted out to be truthful. They've, just what they heard. And
right, and you just take it and run with it. Maybe you trust the person that wrote it, but sometimes I've learned a little thing on, on Facebook. Sometimes I'll see something, I'll say, I think I'll fact check that. Well, sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not.
Or a variation of the truth.
Right, yeah.
It depends on, absolutely.
So, but another thing I want to mention real quickly, Carrie didn't tell me to do it, but I'm telling you folks, we're getting down to the wire on the 2020 census. And that is important. And there again, I have been told that there's a group that calls people and tells people don't give out information. They're just trying to get your information. Well, folks, I'm well over 39 years old. As a matter of fact, I'm 30 years over 39 years old, and there's been a census done every 10 years since before I was born. And they do get a very little information. I'm going to be mean and ugly, as I said. If you want to give out information, go buy a house. Go buy an automobile from a dealer. They're going to know more about you when you walk out than you know about yourself. But
Commission, let me interact something right there from just what you said on information. There is more information that you gave out when you agreed to let people into your cell phone.
Absolutely.
Than they will ever ask from a census.
And one of the good things about that phone and cell towers, I can be lost or hurt, injured out here in these mountains, and I can ping on that cell. And you know what? I am tickled to death I got that cell phone, even if all that is on it. But I'm telling you, the benefit that we get, not only in Georgia is the second, and that's not second to the good, unless something's happened in the last day or two. We're still the lowest of getting reports in. I think Carrie told me we were at 53.5% on our census. I'm urging you folks, don't listen to somebody say they're getting the information. This is information that is needed for your kids and grandkids and whoever in the school system to be able to get money toward the things to take care of them. Also in your counties and your cities, to get the federal money that we have sent to Washington. People say, well, that's our money anyway. Yes, but the only way you get it back is through some of these things, and they look at the number. Also, people coming into the county wanting to expand a business or build a business, they're going to look and say, well, there's not a workforce. They've only got 8,000 people or 10,000 people, when we know we probably hadn't dropped since the last census, so we got somewhere in the neighborhood between 16,000 17,000 people. And we're still a small county. We will always be, because we got two mountains that take up a lot of our properties that you can't live on. But if people begin to look and say, well, they don't have the workforce, there's no need of trying to go to a place like Dade County. So please, I urge you, they're not getting any information that they don't already have, and they probably have had it for a long time. But the importance of doing that census, and the time is running out. Carrie, when is the now?
September 30th.
September the 30th, and we are right now on what,
13 days away.
Yeah. So please, if you're not sure that you did it before the pandemic started, when you got the paperwork, you can go online. You can go to the library if you don't have an online. You can go to our office, to the county commission office. Somebody will help you there. It's about 5 to 10 minutes of your time, but the benefit that we receive is much greater than what most people can imagine. So,
absolutely, and not to mention, it is a constitutional requirement.
It is.
So the Constitution is getting a lot of talk in the last several years, especially. But Second Amendment, First Amendment of the Constitution. Well, the right to bear arms, the Second Amendment, of course. The Constitution we're required every 10 years to report who we are, and that we live in this country.
Right.
And so let's fulfill our constitutional requirement. That's really, a lot of people lose track of that. Why does the government want to know? Well, it's a constitutional requirement that's been around since the 1700s,
Yep.
since the founding of our nation.
Well, it is just too important to let it slide by and think it's not important, because it really is. And I hope that people will make every effort in the next 2 weeks to get that. I don't know if there'll be an extension or not. I know that's been thrown around to some judges and courts, whether or not because it's already been extended since April was the original date, but because of the pandemic, the government, the United States government, and everybody else has worked. States have worked to give people all the extension they need. Another thing I will tell you, and I'm not sure of the dates, maybe I should, but it's not long until early voting will start for the presidential election. Like any other election, the most important we'll ever have, because it is this one. But there's a lot of things, a lot of talk in on the news about ballots and ordering ballots. Don't wait around till the last day and then want to order one. You can still vote in person and early voting when it begins, and that will be posted on the county website, and you'll certainly be able to know it.
Won't be long, that's for sure. Tell them how they can get in touch with you as we wrap things up here.
Okay, my phone number is 423-503-0618, 423-503-0618, and the county office, if you need to reach anybody there, you don't have a number, you can get in touch with any commissioner or any county employee for that matter at 657-4625, 657-4625.
And glad to have you back.
Glad to be back. Yeehaw.
Yeah, I know why you took your vacation when you did. Because Dade County had a bye week. You didn't have to worry about.
No, I missed the first game with Gordon Lee that I've missed in years. But looking forward to going to Cedar Bluff, and that will pretty sure that'll be played tomorrow night. I don't see anything to hinder it.
I think you're right. Thank you, Commissioner Robert Goff, who is the Vice Chair of the Dade County Commission, talking county government. We thank him very much. We'll have more, including the Brace Report, coming up.
A small bank with big